What's up, everybody? Good morning. It is Matt again. It is another beautiful day, and this time I'm going to do a talk about something that a lot of us who are coming to terms with who we are and what we are have gone through, are currently going through, probably are about to going through, and that what I'm talking about is a going through an awakening. I read something earlier this week, which I find really helpful, and then I'll talk about it. And if you want to read the article, you can look down in the comments below or the description box, and it'll tell you where to go and who made it. It's from a woman named Elizabeth Gordon, and it was written on May 23rd, 2019. And the title literally just says, "Real awakenings are not elegant; they are messy, ugly, shattered, and raw." And it goes on to say, actually, there's a quote that says, "Whatever your challenge is now, look at it, face it. Do not avoid it. Bravery is called for. Breathe deep and leap in." As a wise elder once said, "The only way out is through. You got this. You are not alone. Ask for advice. Keep an eye out on the horizon and an eye on the steps ahead." And that was a quote from Waylon H. Lewis. I unfortunately don't know who he is. If anybody knows who he truly is, type me a comment down below. But the article starts to say that I want to have basically it starts as I want to have an awakening like they do in the movies. You know, where the protagonist experiences their quantum shift with elegance and grace, leading us, the audience, into a wonderful montage, complete with awesome music, of all the ways their life will now improve. They get an amazing new job offer, send out a few resumes, a random run to the coffee house yields them a phone number from their dream partner. They ditch their shitty apartment and relocate to a house that they can now somehow afford very easily. They make up with their asshole father and go fishing. All this in the span of mere weeks. And after the montage is over, we witness the protagonist looking back at the crossroads that brought them to this new, wonderful place in their life, all the while contemplatively smiling and drinking a margarita. Reality check, please. Real awakenings are not like this. Far from it. There is no montage, there is no music, there is no shortcut to the next scene in which we will somehow now be miraculously happy, at peace, or in love. We can't fake it. We can't skip the middle. We can't yell cut. Real world awakenings. With real world awakenings, there's a lot of crying. There's a ton of confusion and doubt and questions and shock. There's deep seated socialization and conditioning that gets unearthed, leaving us wondering what the hell we believe, want, know, feel now. There's the messy middle, and feeling terrified in the middle of the night that the body issues that for sure got cleared up in therapy but is now rearing its ugly head again. There's wondering if anybody ever feels like this, and if they do, why aren't they talking about it? Awakenings feel like our heart is breaking and being pieced back together, again at the same time. It feels like all the parts of ourselves are at war and they are inviting us to come along for the ride. It feels like we are caught between this person we say we want to be and the person we are right now, who's a complete mess. We feel wretched one minute and like we are on a cloud the next, or we are on cloud nine the next. Sometimes it just feels slow. And then in the middle of the awakening, something happens. A flash of fresh perspective that shifts the entire world on its axis, a rush of love to the heart that makes us grab our chest and catch our breath, somebody telling us that we matter, an old wound that finally heals. Something releases, something surrenders. There is a softening where there was once a hard place. There are moments that feel like we are being hit by a ton of bricks and knocked over by a feather at the same time. Awakenings tear us apart. They expose all the yucky stuff, the shameful stuff, the secrets, the dreams that were never given a voice, the relationships that imprison us, the words left unsaid. Awakenings are a mirror we can't turn away from, even in our ugliest, most tattered gown. They force us to get real, to get honest, to get transparent, They ask us to up-level. Awakenings don't just come from anyone. They seek out those who are strong enough to take a hit. Awakenings don't fuck around because they have a mission to help us arrive. To help us to arrive at the deepest place of love and compassion, to arrive at our endless inner wisdom, to arrive at the tender crossroads of accepting ourselves and loving others, to arrive at the place in which we are in full trust of who and what we are, to arrive at our shattered place and pour some light over them. And when we do arrive, we realize we have been cleansed, blessed, prepared. We understand that those dark nights of the soul were an opening for our raw truths to claw its way out. We are humbled that our greatest pain has now become our biggest teacher. The truth of who we are is not in how we can contort ourselves into who the world says we are allowed to be. The truth of who we are is when we stop contorting, when we stop making excuses, when we stop lying to ourselves, and when we are satisfied when we are not, and that we are satisfied when we are not. When we stop believing that all the beautiful experiences of life are reserved for other people. Awakenings allow us to realize all the ways we make ourselves small, all the ways we try to fit ourselves into other people's rules, limitations, and beliefs, all the ways we have rejected ourselves and not honored our own wisdom. We change when we realize there must be another way, when our inner truth is so loud that we cannot find any more excuses or distractions to turn the volume down. We must answer the call. We owe it to ourselves. So give me the messy middle, because I want all the good stuff on the other side of it, including an amazing margarita. This I read and it resonated so deeply. And I'm sure people who are watching my video with what I'm saying and my readings and things that I do say, I'm sure what I say resonate. Because I think a lot of people look at an awakening experience or being woke and go, okay, I'm gonna go through this really short experience and I'm gonna be really messy, like, a month earlier, but in a month I'm gonna be this grandiose, awesome person who knows everything that they want to do. And that's not the truth. It's not really the truth that happens. It's we go through this awakening so we can be cut open, so we can be raw, so we can figure out who we truly are, because at a certain point we have to go through this in order to take everything that we've been told, everything that we've told ourselves, and realize that it's a lie. And it's not just the fact that people are lying to us because they want to. It's the fact that we've been conditioned as human beings, as people, as spiritual beings, to kind of be on this path of, okay, you're going to be born, you're going to go to school, you're going to have a job for the next 60 years, and nothing else matters. For certain people, we are waking up, we are totally understanding that, no, things do matter. How I feel matters. How my heart reacts with somebody else matters. What I'm doing in this world matters. I don't want to have a job. I want to have a career that I love. I want to be able to help people. But in order to get from point A to point B, you got to go through this huge uprooting of yourself. You have to tear open your heart. You have to have your brain scrambled all at the same time so that you don't understand what's truly going on. You're left up at night going, oh my God, I'm going crazy. Or am I going crazy? Not able to sleep, kundalini, feeling things that you've never felt before, seeing things that you've never felt before, all to get to this level up of awakening where you finally understand. You understand why you went through the messy middle. You understand why there was so much pain, why there was so much hurt, and why you had to leave everything that you had once known. Why everything before this was a lie to who you are now. And I'm not saying that people are intentionally lying to you, but I think in a way, if you're ignoring the point of going through an awakening and ignoring the fact that your heart and the universe wants you to go through this and wants you to wake up to who you truly are and what you truly want to do, and the fact that your heart works. Your heart doesn't just work for you, it works for everybody else, because what you've just gone through is now something so hugely profound that you're willing to step into the limelight and say, hey, you know what? I went through this. Here's what I went through. Here's what you're going to go through. Just follow me, and it's fine. It's going to be cool. It's going to be great. We're willing to go through this mess and pick ourselves up and take a deep breath and take a huger deep breath and go through all the things that we need to heal in ourselves to help heal those that need it as well. So we become a leader in a sense. We become this messy leader where, 2 years ago, for instance, for me, 2 years ago, I was the worst person I could think of. I was messy. I was horrible. I only thought of myself. I, but I also I wanted to help people. I just didn't know how. The only thing I could really do was going through the dark night of the soul to figure out what was truly going on. And then through that, I can now look at myself and go, okay, I know what my heart wants to do. I know what I want to do. How do I get there? How do I get there fully, completely, emotionally? So if you're going through something, if you're going through an awakening, or if you're going through something very hard, I would say keep on going. There is no stopping in the middle, because if you're trying to stop in the middle, you're half baked. And why would you want to be half baked when you could just keep on going? And even if it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years, it's going to take as long as it possibly takes for you to come out the other side fully formed and a functioning emotional adult. Being able to use your heart, being able to use the intuition that you've been wanting to use, and being able to give a piece of yourself to others without being a detriment to yourself. So I do think that a lot of this is kind of, taking out the whole idea that it's going to take such a short amount of time, or it's going to be really quick, because it's not going to be quick. It's going to be hard. It is going to be painful, but you are going to be a completely new human being. You're going to be one that's spiritually based instead of overthinking everything. You're going to be one that's heartfelt instead of trying to find logic in everything that happens, because some of the things that are happening, there is no logic behind it. So if you are going through an awakening, there is a good way to just, it's easier said than done. Like, oh, just keep going through it. It's hard to want to keep going through it when you're waking up in the middle of the night and things hurt and your brain feels like it's on fire. But it's the only way to do it, and it's the only way to keep going. And just knowing that, yes, I'm not in the best place right now, but this is all for better, and I chose to go through this somehow, some way, in this life or before. I chose to go through all this, so I just have to see it through. So I hope this resonates. I know it resonated with me. I just wanted to leave that as this week's video. I love all of you. I'll talk to you later. If you want a session with me, Matt at healingwithmatt.com. Healing with Matt. Yeah, love y'all. Peace.